Right, so one of the barriers particularly for small businesses that I mentioned last time it's the cost of these SEO tools. You're looking probably a minimum of about $100 a month to subscribe to use them. So trying to find good free solutions is quite useful. And this Ubersuggest is one that it doesn't do everything, but it gives you a good starting point and gives you enough to actually act upon. So this originally it's a web-based tool, although as it's mentioned just now, there's a Chrome app as well that hooks into it. But it was based on Google Suggest terms originally, but it was then bought by Neil Patel, who's done a lot of work to it. And the amount of free stuff you can do is diminished a little bit as it's got older, but it's still enough there that you can actually do some useful stuff with. It's limited now to 3 free searches per day. You can analyze your own site, and you can also quite usefully look at your competitors as well. It gives you a few tips on what you need to look at, and it covers most of the core things we've mentioned. So this is going to whiz through, really, just show you the capabilities. I'm not going to go into details of how to use it in general. So this is where you find it. If you just Google Ubersuggest, you'll find it anyway, but that's the URL down at the bottom here. And this is what you see when you log into it. So basically, you need to set the language and location to English UK, so it uses Google UK. Put your domain name in, and it will go into displaying you a traffic overview. So this gives you quite a useful overview. So I use my golf club just to see how it was ranking. But they reckon it reckons that you've got 657 organic keywords that are actually being picked up. Just over 2,000 organic monthly visits to the site. Domain authority is not so good. But
what is that number supposed to be? Is it?
If you can see the black box on the right-hand side,
yeah,
that explains what it is. Basically, domain authority is something that is developed by Moz. It's a factor that they come up with to show how SEO good quality your site is. Basically, it's ranked over a range of 1 to 100, 100 being the best. So the higher that number is, the better it's going to rank. But how they calculate it is a bit of an unknown. And other tools have a similar thing, but they all calculate this figure differently. Quite a few of them tend to use the Moz number. The other thing there is that it also looks at the backlinks.
I was going to say, Steve, isn't the Moz number calculated on how many other sites linked to you and how many sites you've got linked?
Yeah, it's a lot more complex than that, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's based over a long period as well, isn't it?
Yeah. If you can see that box on the right, it does tell you. But basically, if you run up Ubersuggest and just hover over the question mark here, that box pops up. So you'll be able to read what it is. So this, as you scroll down the page, you come onto these other sections on the page. So this is the first one, shows you traffic. The free version only covers the last 4 months. So if you want to see more, you've got to pay per subscription, which I think starts at about 25 quid a month, which isn't too bad. It gives you a bit more data. So this just shows you traffic against fine. As you scroll further down, you come into SEO keyword ranking. So this shows you've got 657 keywords. This is the key. So this is page 1, positions 1 to 3, 4 to 10, and so on. So you can see we started off in July. What's that? About 700 keywords ranking. Only a few are at positions 1 to 3, and then you can see it drops off.
Where did these tools get the figures from?
I don't. Well, ranking is used. Most decent tools tend to take it from Google's search results. So it will monitor the position, and it'll sample it periodically and see how it goes up and down.
What Google does, or the tool does?
The tool will look at the Google search results.
Right. And how do they get that information?
Well, we don't know how Google calculates
No,
it.
how does the tool get the information from Google?
Some sort of API, I guess. Google don't like these tools pinging their servers. So quite often they'll block bots.
I've got the same question as her, because I'm just running it on my site and it knows what the most popular page is. So it is going. Why does Google Analytics allow other people to? It's not private, this information.
No, I mean, it all comes back to using Google's data in most cases.
Yeah, but why? So other people can look at the Google Analytics data from my website.
Well,
Of course they can. Yeah, anyone can. It's public domain.
Right.
they can't see exactly which is the most popular of Andrew's.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, fern nurseries.
But you can with Ubersuggest, because you put in any URL, it will analyze that URL, that domain.
It's giving me the top. It's showing me the top countries from my website. It's very similar to what Google Analytics would show me.
Let's carry on. It'll show you the competitor analysis in a minute.
All right, good.
So it also looks and reports on what it finds as the top SEO pages on your site. So again, the numbers are a bit limited in the free version of what it will actually show you, but it gives you a good starting point. Keep using my cursor. And then the third section, it will show you what it considers as the top SEO keywords for the site it's analysing. So I'll give you these are pretty much in order. So the highest one obviously gives you the volume, position, and estimated visits. That's a bit vague. I don't know how they calculate that.
I mean, maybe you answered my question that you don't know how, but what do they mean by keyword? I mean, what is Southwick Park? Is that something that people have searched for?
The domain I'm analysing is Southwark Park Golf Club.
Yeah.
So it's searching now to find key terms that are ranking or will rank for that site on that topic.
So you're saying
Southwark Park is obviously going to come up. Southwark Park Golf Club comes up obviously because it's Southwark Park Golf Club.
So is it saying if you search using those keywords, you'll get to this site?
Yeah, if you put those terms into Google, you'll get to that site. So the next section down is keyword overview. So in this case, if you want to look for a particular key term, so again, I put in golf course. So this shows you search volume for that term is 135,000, which obviously is quite high. SEO difficulty, that means basically how hard it will be to rank organically for that term, because it's quite a broad term. It's not a long tail term. It also gives you an indication of what it would cost you if you wanted to use pay-per-click to pay to searching, pay-per-click. And this shows you mobile volume against, I can't see because I had all the mug shots over the content, I couldn't read it.
Desktop volume.
Yeah, desktop volume. These other items at the bottom here are available in the free version. So where we put in golf course, this is what we call the seed. It now takes the seed and then it gives you some ideas of what other terms. You know, if you go and start typing a search into the search box on Google, you'll see a menu drop down with other terms. I think this is where the sort of things that it's using. That drop down in Google is actually recent searches for that term associated with that term. So I think these are the sort of way that these are generated. So obviously it just extends these into longer tail, medium or longer tail terms. And the other thing that it tells you, it does some searches and comes up with recent articles that have been ranking associated with your core seed term. So that allows you then to have a look at what other people are writing about and give you some ideas for writing new content for your site. Another thing that it does, you can look at different, you can have related terms, questions, prepositions, and comparisons. So this just looks at other particular terms that spin off of that core seed term. That again, you might give you some indications on what you can group together or what to include in your articles you're writing or your posts or whatever.
What do you do with this information? Is it giving you a clue that if you write a blog or something?
Yeah, if you write a blog, you don't write around one key word. You write around groups of things, so all related terms. So if you're writing something about a topic that you know something about, you will naturally include a lot of these terms anyway. So this is just giving you clues as to what you can incorporate into your content.
What I would say, what I'm seeing here is that if you're going to try and publicize your website, you're going to want to attract people who are just interested in golf. So people who are interested in golf obviously know about St Andrews. So they'll type that in, and obviously you'll appear on their search as well if you've included that term.
Yeah, it's probably not one of the best terms I could have picked, but
but it's still. Yeah, it's including more sort of names that people are familiar with is obviously going to bring more people to the party, as they say, isn't it? Because, you know, people might search on that and they say, oh, what's this all about here? And So that's how I would look at it anyway.
Yeah, if you looked at if you did a search for shoes, for example, and use that as your seed, obviously that's a very broad term, and it's gonna rank, will be quite hard to rank competitively with that. So if you then extend that, so if you put in golf shoes, that would be a longer tailed term, which would narrow down the number of queries you're going to get returned, but it'd be more nearer to the specific topic. So if you then extended that even further into a longer tailed term, and you had blue golf shoes, you see you're narrowing it down. So the closer you get, or the longer the tailed term, the closer you get, you'll get fewer search results returned, but you're getting closer to people that are actually looking specifically for that sort of product. Does that make sense? I'm not explaining this very well. It's totally unprepared. I pulled this together quite quickly. So moving on, this is one you can put in your competitors, or you can find out who search thinks your competitors are. So if you put in, again, I've put in my golf club site, and it's come up with these as the competition that it thinks that you're ranking or fighting against, basically. So this is the graphical data, and then there's numerical data here as well.
So the sites there that were listed as the competition, do they have to pay to list on that site?
No.
So that's just literally from analysing their web traffic.
Yeah, this is all from Google's data.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting to know, because I've seen other things which are similar, but you have to pay basically to get listed in there in the first place. But obviously the traffic that comes back from it is very good.
Yeah, he must have built quite a big database to turn all this round fairly quickly.
It's not so much a database, like you say, it's just linking to the APIs. If you're linked into all that, the data's already there, isn't it? It's just extracting it.
Yeah, it's true. But SEO is still a bit of a black art. You need to spend a lot of time analysing the data you've got. You can pull reams and reams of data, but you've got to really look through it and work out what it's telling you.
It's that, and it's patience as well, because obviously what you do, what you can change doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be patient and wait for it to take effect.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you don't often get results. Certainly not in days, but even weeks, months, and even years sometimes before you can see some results. So one of the other things in SEO is backlinks. You want backlinks from reputable sites, linking back to your content. That does help with search rankings, because the more backlinks you get, Google interprets that as you being a reputable site delivering good quality content. It's believable, credible. Yeah, this just gives you an overview. Again, it's time. So for some reason they've had a blip there, and it's come back down.
Those backlinks include backlinks from Facebook and Twitter and so on.
You can look at this data, but I had a look at this and it wasn't particularly useful. It was just an example. I don't think they've got a lot of other backlinks useful ones. I don't know where they. Yeah, it's I say the golf club wasn't probably one of the best examples I could have chosen. But these seem to be like hotel links looking at activities nearby.
I've just set mine up, Steve, and the first result in my backlinks is a blog post from Paul Thompson recommending Red IT.
Yeah, as I say, this probably wasn't a good example, but it's just showing you what you can do within the tool is really the main point I'm trying to get over. So rank tracking was another thing that we mentioned. I personally use a tool called Pro Rank Tracker, which is a paid tool. One of the things I found when I was looking at rank trackers was a lot of them, as I said earlier, Google don't like these bots pinging their servers, so they tend to block things. And if you've got repeated queries to Google, they keep blocking things out and throwing up captures and things. But some of these seem to work reasonably well. They increase the gap between interrogations to get over this. And some of the other tools don't give you up-to-date values. But Pro Rank Tracker seems to do it quite well. This one tallies up quite well with Google results as well. So obviously this is over time, so you need to set up a free Ubersuggest account and then create a project, and then you enter in the terms you want it to track. I can't remember how many it will take, probably about 10 I think it is. But
so what time scale is all that tracking over, Steve?
This was I think it's oh, there you go, last 3 months.
Okay.
You got some variations here. You can go in and change. Your project name will come up here once you set it up. I'll blank this out because this is a customer site. So, but basically this will show you how your average is tracking. Down here, this will show you the keyword, the position it's ranking in search, the change. I'm not sure, that again is over the 3 months, I guess. So this one dropped from position 3 to position 5, and it shows you it's gone down two places. This one's gone up one there. Shows you the search volume for these terms, and it will show you the URL of the page that's ranking for that key term. So it's quite useful, but obviously you need to set this up and let it run for a while to get any real data.
So the first one where you went from 3 to 5 has not been searched for anyway.
Yeah, the volume is an indicator, but don't treat these numbers as real.
Right. So how much smoke and mirrors is there?
It's marketing. It's all smoke and mirrors. Yeah, I mean, Google used to give you volumes or predicted volumes in Google Search Console, but they don't tend to do that anymore, and they stopped including that data quite a long time ago. So I don't know how to actually calculate it, but you use them as an indicator. So popular terms, I mean, That third one's 590. It's not too bad.
So you've done
what you're looking for is something that's got a high volume value and a low SEO difficulty value is the ideal.
Oh, that's what SD stands for, is it?
Yeah, SEO difficulty. It's listed on one of the previous slides. If you look back. So that gives you an idea of what you can go after, or you stand a chance of ranking for. So if you've got something that's really high value, so if you put in golf, search volume would be very high. Search difficulty will be extremely high as well. So the chances of you ranking for that are going to be pretty remote. So you work for the other. So you find something that's got a reasonable amount of volume, and then you try and find one or two terms that have got low search SEO difficulty.
And in this one here, it was a free account that you did this with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all on a free account. So as I say, it limits how many results you can get on some of them, but it's a good starting point. And if you start working through it and doing it on a regular basis, you can get a feel for how things are changing and what terms might be useful. But bottom line is SEO is all trial and error. You try something, if it works, you do more of it. If it doesn't work, you stop doing it and do something different. And this is another useful thing. It's a very simple, basic site audit, but it gives you an on-page score that, again, I don't know how it derives this, but again, it's on a scale of 1 to 100. So the higher it is, the better you're doing. You've got just over 2,000 visits a month. You already know you've got 657 organic keywords it's found, and the backlinks it's found already. It also gives you an indication here of pages that it's discovered. This is limited. You're limited to 150 pages in the free version, although it says it's found 268. The useful thing in here is if you've got any broken links or blocked links, you can go in, and I'll show you in a minute in one of the next slides a bit more detail about that. And these are issues that it's discovered. So these are things you can look at. Again, the details I'll show you in a second. It also gives you site speed, although this wasn't working when I tried it the other day. So it's got no data available. And if you just flick this switch, it goes from desktop to mobile. That wasn't working either. So I don't know if that's a blip, but some of these, it doesn't have enough data to be able to calculate it. So it says that there's no data available quite often. But you can run this through Page Speed Insights. It'll give you an overview of how your site's performing. So this is the page detail where I said you've got successful, redirect, broken and blocked. So I just took some samples of it. So if it's successful, it's usually a 200 code it's generated. If it's blocked, in this case it tells you it's blocked in your robots.txt file. These are 301 redirects, and there's a broken one. So it did quite well. They only have one broken link. So it tells you where it is, and it tells you what the URL as well is. So you can go and have a look at that. Oops.
I had a look at the figures for WP Pompey, and I found that people were searching for the how to sign up to the UK Slack thing, but they were searching using an old term. I updated the postal page and changed the permalink, And so they were finding the old term, clicking on that, getting the 404 rather than getting to the results. I know that the premium SEO, Yoast SEO plugin will allow you to sort of cater for that with doing automatic redirection. My quick and dirty solution was I just created the link that they were searching for and mentioned that this is a duplicate, so it will actually give the results rather than use any other redirect plugin.
Yeah, there is a redirect plugin you can use, or I tend to do it in the HT Access.
Well, that was the other option, HT Access.
This is something to remember if you're going to delete a page or turn it to draft or something, or move it or rename it. You need to consider if it was getting SEO juice, for want of a better term, before, you want to protect that and pass it on to where the new pages that you've moved it to, or redirect it to something else if you deleted it. So you always need to consider redirects when you're doing SEO.
That was probably me, Herb, that was searching for how to get onto the Slack. I did that. Mind you, that was a little while ago.
20 times?
Probably not 20 times, no, but a few times.
Mm. Have you managed to get onto the Slack?
Yeah, I'm on there now. Yeah,
Oh,
that was a couple of months back, actually.
Right.
So this is the other box that was shown on that overview. This is the detail of the audit issues, and it's flagged up 5. So we've got low word counts, duplicate meta descriptions, duplicate titles, blocked pages, and then long loaded times. So just taking one of these as an example, take the long loading times. If you look on this link here, what is this and how do you fix it? Some quite useful help boxes pop up, tell you what it is all about. Then if you click on the view details, it clicks down into this. The long load page, it's on 8 pages. It's only showing you 5 on the free version, but it gives you the URL and it shows you, in this case, taking over 6 seconds to load these pages. So again, it steers you in the direction of things you can go and look at. These may not be that important. You know, you might find this is a category page or something like that, which it might not be so important to actually spend any time and effort on improving.
Well, there you go. That's why so many people at Southwark Park are scruffy, because they can't get to the dress code page.
I don't know if anyone's ever visited it. So these just some comments I threw in just to finish up with, really. So SEO tools can give you clues. It's a bit of a black art, but you need to spend a lot of time understanding what you're looking at, piecing bits of information together and coming up with ideas of areas that you can improve on. Guarantee that all the different SEO tools will give you different results. If you run your site through 2 tools, guarantee you'll get different things to look at, because they've all got their own algorithms and their own software and ways of doing things. Problem with SEO is everything these tools throw up, you can spend hours and hours looking at them. Some won't actually be a problem. So one example might be to flag up duplicate descriptions or duplicate titles on pages which are paginated. So things like that, you can't do anything about that. It's the way the software works. As I say, you can spend hours and hours and hours looking at every one of these little bits and fixes, but sometimes it's not economically beneficial to do. So you need to assess each one. Again, that really comes down to experience. And we've already mentioned earlier on, SEO changes don't show results immediately. So it can be weeks, months, or even years before you see any differences. So you need to do a change and then let it run for a while to see if it's going to work or not. So the best thing to do is look at the issues that you can give you the biggest and best improvements first. But again, this comes back down to experience. So that was a bit more than 10 minutes, I think.
Ah, but it's very useful, a bit more than 10 minutes.
Well, that's very good.
I put some text in there so you can read through it. I'll give her the slides to publish.
Lovely.